Joining me now is David Hawkins. He's the senior editor of the Fulcrum here in Washington, D.C. David, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I want to start off by asking you about Jeff Van Drew, congressman from New Jersey, who is switching from Democrat to Republican amid the impeachment inquiry. What does this mean for both parties?
Well, it means that in essence, neither party has a vote to worry about. Jeff Van Drew was, when he was a Democrat, he was one of just two of those Democrats, along with a guy named Colin Peterson from Minnesota, who voted against launching the impeachment inquiry. Now, as a Republican, there will be no doubt. He says he's switching parties principally over impeachment. He will join every other Republican in voting against the impeachment of President Trump later this week on both of those counts, leaving the Democrats with only really 30 people that they are worried about. These are the 30 Democrats who represent districts that Donald Trump carried last time. That's the list of Democrats that they're mainly interested in. Mrs. Pelosi, the Speaker, is not whipping this. In other words, they're not applying pressure to these members to vote one way or the other, but they are paying close attention, and they feel like they've got their roster whittled down to maybe 5, 6, maybe 7 Democrats who might vote against impeachment.
So the House votes on Wednesday. What happens after that, though? So, how much longer is this going to go on for?
Well, we're getting some definition to that just in the last couple of days. Nothing else is going to happen before the end of 2019. The House is going to go home this coming weekend. It sure seems like it. There's a little bit of mystery, as you and I are talking now, about exactly when they're going to go home. They've got a budget deal to do. They've got a trade bill that they want to pass before the holidays. Then there'll be sort of a 10-day, 2-week break. And then early in the new year, it's time for the Senate to convene the trial. A trial is essentially automatic under the Constitution. There was some talk initially that the Republicans didn't think they even need to hold a trial. Now they're going to hold a trial. What we now see is that the Republicans, Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham, have persuaded President Trump not to have a big, ambitious trial, but to keep it narrow. This is sort of the first rule of when you're a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, but I've covered enough trials that I know that the first rule of the law is you win on the narrowest grounds that you can. You don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. The Republicans are highly confident that the president's going to be acquitted, and they want to keep it simple. So I think we should be expecting maybe a 2-week trial.
Okay, so it sounds like we'll wrap it up after this week, but then start of the new year, we'll start it all over again.
And we'll start it all over, an intense 2-week period. Probably, I think the Republicans are going to try and have this trial over with by the middle towards the end of the month, which is when the president is supposed to come to Congress and do his State of the Union speech. It would be probably difficult for the president to keep a straight face if he's on trial in the Senate at the same time he shows up in the House. So my guess is they're going to try and get it done before the State of the Union.
Okay, well, David, thanks for joining us. For more stories like these, you can check out thefulcrum.us.